Welcome back to the weekly recap. I'm Matt Wacker. Firefighters say the Sirloin Stockade in Rolla, or the Cow in the Sky as I used to call it when I was a kid, is a total loss after a fire on February 20th. The fire started around 8 p.m. on the roof in the heating system. Customers and employees were able to escape unharmed. Crews remained on scene throughout the night. They say the building was too dangerous to enter and fight from the inside. Sirloin Stockade has been an institution in Rolla for several decades, and the good news is they plan to rebuild. More jobs will be coming to St. James. According to a release by the Rolla Regional Economic Commission, PROC operations will undergo a major expansion this year, adding 50,000 square feet to their existing campus and approximately 40 new jobs. PROC has been running since 1986, specializing in a wide variety of custom products that include cabinets, cold storage, and self-contained agricultural systems. This expansion will allow for the manufacture of glass showcases and displays. Need to do some research at your local library? If you live in Crawford County, you'll have to wait until early March. 3 branches, Cuba, Steelville, and Bourbon, are closed throughout February to recode and recatalog materials in a final step to exit the Ozark Regional Library System. The newly formed Crawford County Library District will maintain an office in Steelville, in addition to its 3 branch locations. Leanne had a chat with the new director, Beth Altar.
Crawford County regained control of our county libraries. This past February 1st was when we officially took over. In the interest of personalizing the library experience a little bit more, of allowing the branch libraries in Crawford County to develop more of a city identity in line with the community they served. We've been working pretty steadily on processing all of the books, and if you take a look over at some of our folks who are working, we have stations set up where they are going through all of the books. Of course, we have to re-stamp them, recode them, and run them through our online public access catalog, our library automation system, in order to have them coded for our libraries. It's a pretty labor-intensive process to get the books ready and then back on the shelf, but it's been moving along great.
What differences will patrons notice when they walk through the door early March?
Well, a lot of the things that they are used to having at the library will still be here. We'll have all the same services that we did before, but we will have new books, new videos, new audio books, new large print books, and with an emphasis on identifying things that the particular community, whether it be Bourbon, Cuba, or Steelville, particular materials that those cities want to see in their libraries. We are very excited about some of the changes that we are making for the libraries of Crawford County. Expanded hours. The libraries are going to be open, available to the public more often, later in the evenings, at least one evening a week, and open on Saturdays as well.
What about on a larger scale, your plans as the new director for the different libraries?
We want to start seeing some individualized programming for those communities. I know that different communities have different interest groups, whether it be quilting or homeschool groups, some tabletop gaming groups for the teens, and we're going to start doing some programming specifically tailored to meet the community wants and needs, whether it be after-school programs, programs for seniors during the day, and we hope to start offering something at least once a week in every library to get the community involved.
Do you think that it's even more important in our modern world to have that physical place together?
I really do. I think that, of course, all the digital sources we have are amazing, and it certainly provides a world of opportunity for people in small towns or rural areas to get in touch with larger populations and different cultures, but we still need that ability to connect locally and in person.
Matt, back to you.
Missouri S&T will be hosting its second round of TEDx discussions on March 15th. Dare to Consider is the theme for this year's independently organized event. Speakers have been challenged to reflect on previous experiences and present topics that might spark some sort of educational initiative. Tickets can be purchased from the Leach Theater box office for only $10. Waynesville's 8th annual Banquet for Life is taking place on March 22nd with keynote speaker Missy Robertson of Duck Dynasty fame. The fundraising event is organized by the Free Women's Center, existing to support ladies facing unplanned pregnancies. There is no cost to attend. Those who go are asked to support the organization by giving a donation during the dinner. A former chancellor of Missouri State University West Plains was honored during halftime of a recent Grizzly basketball game at the West Plains Civic Center. Dr. Marv Looney was designated an emeritus member of the Grizzly Booster Board of Directors in recognition of his unwavering support of the program and his efforts to establish it. Dr. Looney was chancellor during most of the 90s, wherein he secured funding for the Civic Center and a residence hall for student athletes. Folks braved chilly temperatures February 16th to make maple syrup at Montauk State Park. The program, led by Steve Boast, walked participants through the entire process from tapping to tasting. Leanne was there.
Well, glad to have you all out here today. This is a real fun program. It's kind of hands-on. And so what we're doing, we're actually straining this off a little bit.
Oh, that's what sap looks like.
Yes, it does. Actually, when it's fresh, it looks just like water, and it even tastes like water. And with maple syrup, it takes about, I think the exact number is 37 gallons to make 1 gallon of syrup. Wow. And so what we're doing, today's program, we're going to have you identify a sugar maple tree, and then out in the woods, and then we're going to show you how to actually tap it. Some of this should be real easy. So what is this tree?
It's a maple tree.
That's a maple. It's one of my favorites, and they have a pretty orange, sometimes a yellow. And so in the fall of the year, it's real easy to identify them, but it's a little bit harder in the wintertime. As temperatures begin to warm up a little bit, the roots are going to start sending sap back up into the branches. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at different processes of doing it. And this is an ongoing thing. We're going to be cooking the sap down to make maple syrup. The best time of year to actually tap sugar maple trees is going to be late winter. You're looking at probably the month of February. You can tap about any size you want, but the rule of thumb is to make sure it's 10 inches. But we're going to do this one just to see the process a little bit better. And the trees are pretty rugged, but you don't want to overdo it, of course, too. The least intrusive you are about getting the sap, the better it is for the tree. Okay. We may not get much dripping into that, but we're going to see what's going to happen. The weather is exactly opposite of what we need. Yes, sir.
It's a little thin still, but I'm going to go ahead and pour this one off. This is a treat that I actually found online one time. And I don't. This one, yeah, you almost make candy with it. Take a popsicle stick and roll it in. And this one's not quite sticky enough, so I'll probably end up cooking it down just a little bit more. But you guys are welcome to take these popsicle sticks and scoop yourself up some maple syrup if you want.
It's the end of a truly American institution, as McDonald's announced this week that cheeseburgers will be taken off their Happy Meal menu. This in an effort to cut down on the number of calories children consume at their restaurants. The cheeseburger can be requested specifically, but the company believes that not listing them will reduce how often they're ordered. We'll see how this one pans out. I think we all know that McDonald's is no bastion for health, so if kids are being taken there on the reg, is this really going to make a difference? Tell us what you think. Thanks for watching the weekly recap. I'm Matt Wacker. I'll see you next time. The weekly recap is brought to you by Rice Chopper, cooking from scratch, the UPS store of Rolla, Bayard Dodge in West Plains, and the Ozarks Medical Center.
Let your inner Zeus loose and plunge to support Special Olympics Missouri athletes. Dust off your toga, don the laurel wreath, and party like the good old days at your choice of 13 frigid bodies of water this January, February, and March. Sponsored by your local law enforcement, proceeds support 15,000 children and adults with intellectual disabilities in year-round sports, training, and competitions throughout the Show Me State. To find out how you can get involved, visit somo.org/plunge. So get your family and friends together and take the plunge to make a difference in an athlete's life today.